Good afternoon, everyone. I trust you're all well and safe. So thank you for creating time to be part of this HR Analytics for Business Performance webinar, where we will be introducing the important concept of applying analytics to drive HR. So this webinar was brought about by the trends in HR that you have seen worldwide. According to a 2018 report by Deloitte, it found that 35% of surveyed companies said they were actively developing data analysis capabilities for HR. And HR analytics now enables so many HR professionals to make data-driven decisions to attract, manage, and even retain employees, which improves the return on investment on companies. It also helps leaders to make decisions to create better work environments and maximize employee productivity. Clearly, we've seen that it has a major impact on the bottom line when used effectively. My name is Grace Gikonyo. I'm the brand and marketing executive at Visca Industrial Capacity Limited, which is also the host of today's webinar. Allow me to briefly introduce Visca before we delve into the discussion of the day. Visca is an organization that offers training, consultancy, and resourcing in engineering technology. We have branches in Kenya, Uganda, and also Tanzania. We offer on-site and also off-site training in manufacturing and energy, IT, safety, and other general courses for various organizations. We are recognized for our top-notch quality training that we have been offering for over a decade now, through customized sessions that cater to organizations' wants and needs. We have offered our services for companies in the whole of East Africa, and we pride ourselves in the ability to deliver valuable solutions through industry-based consultants and internationally recognized partners. This webinar serves as an introduction to subsequent paid webinar series that we'll be having on HR analytics topics. We'll also be launching a poll after the first 30 minutes of the presentation, which will be geared to help us tailor the subsequent webinars to your needs. Our trainer for today is Mr. Nelson Ogudha. He's a HR generalist, certified professional trainer, and also an analytics specialist. So welcome, Mr. Ogudha. Meanwhile, for participants, let us mute our audios and also stop our videos in order to concentrate fully on the presentation. If anyone has any questions or comments, kindly feel free to post on the public chat. Mr. Ogudha, welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Grace. Kindly confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Very clear. Okay, thank you very much for the good introduction as to why we need to do analytics in our businesses. So I'll share my presentation today. And as we train today, once we shall have started the training, at some point we will stop and do a serious practice ourselves, because we not just do theoretical bits of it, but we also see where we come in as human resources and how we deliberate upon it. So just introduce our topic today of business performance is that someone can ask, why are we in business performance? Yet as human resources, we also have our own problems that we have within the company. But remember again that in our industry and also in Kenya in general, most of our companies have not uploaded the HR analytics. So we need to what can buy in clearly with from the management? What can we present to the CEO or the board of directors and they can buy into? So that's why we are focusing on business performance. And another thing why we do business performance is that HR does not just do any things out of the blues, but we do them because we want to achieve something that business is living for. So that one now takes me into our discussion today. And is
The audio is lost.
Nelson?
there's a problem here? Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Hello? Okay, so I'll proceed now. We are saying that 85% of those who practice analytics have seen 7% growth in their revenue. That is the major business goal for those who are in profit making, right? So we move next. We now need to do a few definition of terms and understand where we are coming from. So the first one will be data, the meaning of data. So these are just ideas, the thoughts that you have, the facts that you have, and any other information that you have and can be analyzed or are there for analysis and for.
We can't hear anything.
And a singular for data is datum, because data is in plural. So now singular of it is datum. So big thanks to you if you knew it. Then we go to big data, which were in normal situations, we say that you cannot describe big data without mentioning the volume of data, the quantity, that is, the variety, in what form is it coming into, and the velocity, how fast, how frequent is it coming into. And now when you have these three factors, we're talking about now that you're not able to perceive what this data means, because they're coming in different formats. They're coming at a high velocity and in big volumes. So you cannot understand big data until you apply statistical formulas or techniques to understand it. That's now big data. Data that if you look at it, you don't understand until you apply some of calculations in terms of statistics. Metrics, this one we've discussed so many times. Either you've seen it on the internet, some past training that you've done, also you've seen metrics. And these are, we say in short, they are just unit measurements that we use to track, organization performance or HR activities. That is now metrics, just unit that you use to track, like how many days did we take to recruit? How many days did we take before we finalize a disciplinary action? Just a metric. What is our revenue? That's just a metric. KPI are set standards, the target that you set for yourself. The target that you set for yourselves are called KPIs. Then when we talk about analysis, sometimes people ask, what is analysis? What does it mean? What does it mean when we say analysis? And analysis here, we're talking about just the manipulation of data, the understanding of data that for you to give out a report. We're just manipulating to see that you can count it, and just analyzing. When you analyze data, what you get is you get a report. What you get to see the characteristics that are within the data? Are you able to sort out the data in a good way? That is just doing analysis, sorting data, male and female, disciplinary cases, contracts, and that is just analysis. When we talk about analytics, it's something different. Analytics is now you manipulate data that you have using statistical formulas or methods. Remember, analysis, you don't manipulate it, you just group it into useful information. Yeah. But then when you talk about analytics, you have to analyze that, you have to impose statistical formulas. And now we'll see what formulas do we need to understand for us to do that. So then now, we need now to move fast. HR analytics, which we are studying now, we are saying that now this HR analytics means that we're going to discuss or calculate data that we have in HR and put in statistical softwares. Are we able to understand it with such kind of statistical software? We want to study whatever we have and align it with what we need. That now brings us to HR analytics. So we'll focus on HR analytics. Right? Though we have business analytics that covers everything that is there. Now, HR analytics for business performance, where do we start? Where should you start as a person or as someone who want to do analytics for business? The first point that we'll do is to self-competency test. You as a person, are you able to do analytics? And very few things that you need to know, very few skills that you have, that you need to have for you to become a HR analyst. Then one, you need to understand human resource management. Do you know the recruitment process, how it starts and where it ends? Do you know about training? Do you understand the disciplinary meetings and the procedure? Are you able to formulate learning and development, succession planning? Do you have that skill? Yes. Then another one that you need to have is project management skill. Are you able to deliver the results within a stipulated time? And also at this point also need also financial skills, because when you are doing a project, like analytics is a bit of a project, is a project-wise approach, which means that are you able to deliver within a specific time using the resources that you have? So we're taking care of resources here. Another skill that you need is a behavioral science. This one has been practiced in terms of sociology, psychologists, and psychiatrists. All of them are behavioral scientists. So as a HR, you also need to have this kind of skill so that you understand what is the basic interaction between human beings, and individual-wise and as group-wise. Because you're in a company that have got employees, and all these employees are individuals with diverse needs. So you want to see who talks to who is comfortable with who, and that one now brings you a behavioral, your behavioral scientist skills into practice. Like when you want to group people in teamwork, how do you group them? Basic mathematics skills, this one you need to know the simple one. Someone once asked me that, why is it that we always do X and Y in maths, right? So you also need to understand the basic probabilities. The probability of the sun coming out tomorrow is 1. So that is, we are sure about that. So do you understand probability, regression? These are basic things that we need to understand for us to be competent. The last one is tech savvy. Are you able to appreciate the technology that is growing? I think you've seen this photo of someone with a catapult trying to pull it to send files to the cloud. So do you understand what technology is, what's all about? Can you use the software? If you're given statistical software, can you use Excel? Can you present your data in PowerPoint, right? So tech savvy. Do you know how to use a computer? Do you know how to use a smartphone? All of those brings us to competency test. Number 2, on where you need to also perform well to start doing your analytics is now business performance. Do you understand your business as a person? Do you understand where you are? Is your company a profit making or non-profit making, right? Is your company selling products or selling services, or both. So also understand that and understand what the company is trying to achieve. That's when now you can come up with your HR background to help. So understanding business performance now, you must also understand business objectives. So every business that is profit making has got financial and economic objectives. So financial objective are those things that you see in a balance sheet or income statement. When you see number of shares in a company, when you see liabilities and assets, that is financial objectives. We want to sell this much. We want this kind of productivity. We want to make a profit of 30 million next year. That is a financial objective of that company. When it comes to economic objective, these are non-financial, non-asset, non-liabilities. Here we talk about things like the best company to work for. You've seen those kind of ratings, right? We want to see our employees retained. So retention of our human asset is part of economic objective. We also want to see our customers satisfied. So customer satisfaction is one of our economic objectives that we need to achieve. Another thing that you also need to understand is solving logical business problems. If a business cannot meet its objectives, then there is a problem that is underlying. So these logical business problems are, one of them can be costs, employee turnover, or skills gap. So up to that, now when you understand this, and you can now choose what you want to work on in terms of analytics. At times you can work into within 3 or 4 issues at a time. But now, as you move on, we'll see. Then now, after understanding that, now we go to our next stage. Now you can see we have a process there that we need to follow after your competency test, and after your understanding of the business. Now you need to evaluate which project are you taking. Are you doing something to solve the problem, or you want to meet the company objectives? So in evaluation of a project, this is where we say that we need a project management person to come in. So now, you'll need to have, when now you are evaluating, we evaluate a project in terms of effort and impact. Effort and impact. So there are projects that are of low effort and high effort. The projects with the low impact or with high impact. Impact is the change in output. What are you getting when you do this? And under effort is what is the energy you're putting in terms of cost, and the same time in terms of time. So under this, we have projects that fall under low effort, low impact. Do them for future benefits if you have to. Like if you create your database for applicants, yeah, or you have a database where someone who finishes school, you have them put their CVs there. That one does not help with any other thing, because people just drop their CVs and you keep for them. But it's a tactical measure in that in future, when you want to recruit, you just visit your database and get the CVs. So it's low effort, low impact. Or when you want to just practice analytical things, just practice with second of projects, because they won't cost much and they have also low impact. So it's easy to manage. The second evaluation of project is low impact and high effort, not worth doing, probably not in your area of interest. Like now you want to understand how COVID has affected other companies in terms of human resources. So it will cost you a lot of money and time doing your research, yet how will this one impact your company, right? So such kind of project is not worth doing, because you need to focus within the business, because we're doing business performance. Another group is the one with the low effort and high impact. These are quick wins. Yeah, is a project that when you just do something, a little bit of something, easy to get data, a little a little money spent, then you get high impact, quick ones you can do. Then we have got high effort, high impact projects that, for example, you want to open up a new branch, you need to take up that project. So that one is a major project and should be done one at a time. So you can see that. So now you evaluate the project and choose which one you want. So if we could just go back and ask which one is viable for you, the best one, which I could choose is that, the one which is quick win, the one with low effort and high impact. And more so when now you still want to buy in the business management to take up, you need something that will require few effort and high impact. So now number two, after evaluating, we need to collect our data. So data collection here, what we need to have is collect the right data that you need. Data collection techniques, it's questionnaire, interviews. There are some that you already have in your database. The things that the employee gave you a long time ago and you're just keeping them. So get that data right. Then seek authorization to access data. There are some data that are grouped as confidential. So don't just go because you are an analyst. So you just go and get every confidential data that you want. Some are on for authorized persons only. So get access. And then after that, also observe data privacy. This has been an issue with most companies. Yeah. And if you watch The Great Hack, yeah, it's talk about data privacy because that has got a value. So observe data privacy. If you're collecting customers' information, observe their privacy on that. So the next step will be data processing. Data processing here, we will require data validation. Like maybe you are missing a data, so get that data that is missing. After collecting the data, now you do data processing. Recalculate, remove the unwanted or duplicated one, reconfirm the data, whether you have the right information. Remember, also another description that can fit big data is validity of data, how valid it is. So validity is also part of that, and that's what you achieve by reconfirming. So basic data manipulation skills are required, and proficiency in Microsoft Excel is encouraged due to its simplicity. So what you can use is simply Excel. It's good for a start if you don't have a system that can do data processing. If you don't want to use things, we have softwares like Python, Tableau, RStudio, that is. So, and there are so many kind of those that can be used. So if you don't have skills on those, then Microsoft Excel can help you. Though Microsoft also has got intermediate and advanced, so you need to advance your skills on that. Then now you need to analyze and metrics, and then do your metrics. Remember when we talked about analysis of data, we said this one just separate the data and have it in an understandable way. Just have it in an understandable way. So what happens is that at this stage, the analysis involves data classification and separation with regards to characteristics. Like whatever you have employee data, but then we have got male employees, we have got the married, we have got those who did degree, those who did not, those who have gotten promotions. So you separate your data analysis so that you can have data characteristics. Yeah. And then another one will be now on metrics, we now do it to represent data. Now, if you have to give male and female, how do you report that? That you have got 50 male employees, 50 female employees. So we have a total of 100 employees. So the gender ratio is 1:1, right? So presentation skills is required here because now you have to do some graphs, some pie charts. So you need to have that. So as you analyze that, so you can see that now we've done this, we've done project evaluation, data collection, data processing, and analysis. So what is remaining now? You now need to do analytics on that we've done. So analytics here, there are only two ways to finalize your analytics. One is through predictive analytics. So we want to see the future. How does the future look like? Can we predict? Yeah. In most companies, people do budgets like for next year has already been done today. We are predicting next year. But is it true that it will happen the way it has happened? So for us to predict the future, we needed to use correlation, regression models, time series, moving averages, associations, also that kind of the formulas or technique that you can use to predict the future. Yeah. So like even if you want to use probability, you can also use that. Just predict the future. What amount of sales will we have? Sometimes I walk into finance department and I see them doing forecasting, and then when they report, they say that we missed our forecast by 5%. It means that their forecasting was right, because up to 95%, that one means that you did a good forecast. So as HR, can you also forecast that if we do this and this, we will have our, can you forecast that with whatever we have now, our retention certain level will be 90% from 80. Where are we seeing our retention? Can we predict? And another way, also do analytics. After this, now we go to the next one that talks about prescriptive analytics. So under prescriptive, we are saying that we want to retain people. How do we retain them? Which action do we take that will give us maximum outcome? That is, now we are prescribing. Like a doctor prescribes for you, take this medication 2 times 3. That's prescription. So we want to say as human resources that train your people for 3 hours, then they will get that concept in. Use online training instead of face-to-face trainings, right? So we are just trying to prescribe to see what's there. So up there is a figure here. 86% of buyers will pay more experience, but only 1% feel that vendors consistently meet expectations. Research by Oracle. It means that our buyers can always pay 86%. Yeah, our buyers can pay more. They're willing, even if you offer it. If there is 100, then tomorrow you say it's 150. 86% will still come back because of the quality. So this one brings us to customer satisfaction. So I want us to look into one thing today. I want to now use that scenario that we've explained, all that process up to down, up to prescriptive, and see how can we work on customer satisfaction, which is a business outcome, right? Because remember when we discussed about financial and economic objectives. So customer satisfaction falls under economic as a business outcome. So how does you as a HR come in and help with customer satisfaction? Someone once came and asked me that you're talking about customer satisfaction. So how will I do it? Me, I am. Hello? Yes. And as I said, customer satisfaction, HR also plays a part in that. So we want to use a scenario and see how do we calculate that and how do we come up with a prescriptive. So allow me to share a slide here.
Hi, Nelson.
Hello?
Nelson, we're losing you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello? Not confirm.
Nelson,
Hello? My audio?
yes, we can hear you, but you're a bit faint. All right, as Nelson prepares for the other presentation, maybe we can take this time to do a 5-minute poll. So I'll be launching a poll and it will appear on your screens. So it will take you like some few seconds, and it will also be a time for you to probably drink some water as we set up the next presentation. So in the next few seconds, you'll probably see a poll. Kindly respond to it. Again, just to echo what I said earlier, the poll is to help us tailor the subsequent paid webinars to your needs. So Nelson, as you set up the presentation, we will be doing a poll with the participants.
Hello? Hello? Yes, now, sorry for that technical hitch.
Still. Dear.
Hello? Are you able
Yes,
to hear me?
Nelson,
Kindly
we can.
chat so I can proceed.
Yes, Nelson, we can hear you. We had proposed to go for a 5-minute break as we wait for you, but it's
Grace,
fine.
kindly put up the poll so that people can have their now. I proceed.
Yeah, that is fine. That is fine. The polling has, we will set it up again. Let's just continue the presentation and I'll alert you when it's ready.
Okay.
Nelson.
If I'm audible enough now, okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
are.
Daisy. Any other person who can hear me apart from Daisy herself, that I can proceed? We need to do now one on customer service and relate our customer service with human resource activities that we always undertake. Okay, thank you, Gillian. Oh, nice now. Nice. Sorry for that technical hitch. And now we want us now to proceed. Can you confirm if you can see my screen again? Sharing my screen.
Nelson, your screen is blurred. Nelson, if you can hear us, we can see the screen, but it's a bit blurry. Maybe you can make it darker, or I don't know how else you can be able to do it.
Hello?
Yes, Nelson, we can hear you.
Hello? Yes, I was saying that now our net promoter score is 9 or 90%. And we are saying this in terms of, we are saying that if we have customers retained, or when they can refer us to some other people, we'll have them coming back, we'll raise our revenue, employees will get paid well, and the company will also achieve the financial objectives, because our revenues will be, it will also be higher. So
We didn't hear
now,
any of that.
if we have already net promoter score, we now check, we want it at 9 or up to 10. So we want to check, where are we now? So we check, where are we now? So as a company, what is our net promoter score? And then you find that as a company, the net promoter score is at 7 or 70%. So what this one means is that we need to work to get the extra 2. We need to work to get the extra 2, because we want 9, which is 9 here. 9 is our target, is our KPI, but our metric as at now is at 7. This is our metric here, 7. What we have achieved, we are achieving 7. So going forward, now what do we do as a company? That one becomes our next question. What do we do? And now this is where we start our data analysis. This is where we start our data analysis. And for you, if you can remember, we have chosen a project, which our project's already customer satisfaction. So this one here, we now need to do, what we do, we need to do data collection. We need to do data collection. So as a company, we need to get data, we need to do data collection. So either we have whatever has been filled before, because for us to get 7, maybe our guest already filled had already filled the customer satisfaction surveys before, or NPS score before. So what we do, we need to get the customer information, the customer details. So one of the things that we need to get data collection in terms of customer, we want to see, is he or she a repeat? Is he or she a repeat guest? A repeat, or just a first time guest in our company? Or number 2, we also need to get what was the guest score. We need to get individual guest net promoter score. And then also we need also to analyze, as we analyze our score, we also need to see, what's the problem on the product? How is it rating our product or our service? And what is the customer saying about our employees? So this data is what we'll collect. We'll collect whether the customer is a repeat customer. We'll collect the rating per customer. We'll want to see, we want to get feedback in terms of our profit on our product or service, and then our employees, right? So now this one now will tell us something. Once you collect this kind of data, we're going to do another data collection. So data collection, this was 1. Data collection 2, we'll also collect data of employee. And at this time, we collect data on employee performance. Because serving a guest is or serving a customer is a performance issue that we want to check. So under employee performance, we need to get now employee details. What factors affect employee performance? So we need to see if employees have attended trainings that we do in our company. We'll get the training record, right, for each employee. We'll also get experience of employee. We'll also look into, I think we also do the psychometric test. If a company do psychometric tests and aptitude tests, then you can also check on attitude. This is the level of employee engagement with the customer. You can also check on qualification. Because someone who is performing very well must be having a good attitude, good experience, training, and qualification. So we have two types of data. We have the data from the customer, and also we have the employee data. So how do we use this information that we already have? So we go now to the next step that we are saying we are analyzing. We now need to data process actually. We need not to do our data process. We need to see which employees have this kind of experience, what was the attitude. If we check the qualification of our employees, we have degree in our customer service side. Do we have certificate? Do we have diploma holders, right? So that now we'll be analyzing and see if someone, if we don't have experience of a given person, we ask him, Nelson, have you ever worked in customer service before? Yes. Where did you work? I worked this place, and I have 5 years experience in customer service. And then now, remember, we also collected the guest feedback here. And maybe let's say that for the guest to rate us actually at 8 or at 7, the guest was, or the guest focus is on the employees. The guest can be a first-time guest rating a 7, and he's saying that the product is okay. If you're selling phones, you are selling books, you are selling food, the customer said the food was very okay, but your employees were the problem. Your employees were the problem. So that when you check on the feedback forms, you find that the issues were on the employee issues. Like when I came in, nobody said hi to me. That is an employee issue. When I asked this kind of a question, I wasn't answered very well. That's an employee issue. When I asked for an A4 book, I was brought for an A3 notebook. So that one also happens with employees because the product is already there. The customer is a first timer, but now the major problem why the customer is rating a 7 is because of employee performance. So that's where we go and get our employee details. Now we want to see what affects employee performance. Do they need trainings, experience, attitude, and qualification? So that's where now you come back and do what we are saying that time, that you need to appreciate the mathematical bits. So you will do something called regression. So regression will give us the relationship between employee performance and other variables because our customers have complained about employee performance, which HR is largely in charge of. So what we do is we come to check on employee performance. So what is the relationship between employee performance and other variables? And we've said other variables here involves someone who is well trained. So training, the relationship between performance and training, experience of our employees. We also want to check on education, qualification, and we also want to check on employee attitude, right? So now you see that we have got 4 factors. If you can even add another one here, we can talk about tools of work, because maybe you want me to work very well. I have good, but I don't have the right tools of work. So if we do our regression with the data that we have, remember this data here, you have all this data in your file, in employee files. You're not going to get it from nowhere. You have this one within the company. That's why customer satisfaction would be a better one for us to do, because in terms of getting data, we already have it. So we do a regression, and now we are assuming that our regression will give us something. So for those of us who might be confused or might be lost in that, regression is given by y is equals to a plus b x. I think you've met this formula in so many areas. That's why I was saying that you need to appreciate a little bit of maths. So y is equals to a plus bx. So now we are saying that, assume that we get this. We are saying that employee performance will give us 0.14. These are just figures that I'm just getting from my assumption. This is just an assumption, please. So until you do your regression. So plus, we can name training as X1, experience as X2, and education qualification as X3, attitude as X4, and work tools as X5. So this one is a lengthy one, and you need a statistical software like Tableau or Python or R to achieve this. That our employee performance is equals to 0.6 of training
Nelson, can you hear us? Nelson?
Hello? Yes, I'm saying that the simplest way to hack this is that when you've done your regression line, which we have here as 0.4, this one here is we call it a constant because employee will already perform even if these other factors are not there. If you bring me in, I know the basic thing, the communication, I already have it, and it's a big thing in customer service. So I will still communicate with the guest, so there's a constant. But now you can see that you have 0.6 of training plus 0.7 of experience plus 0.3 of education, 0.4 of attitude, and 0.1 of tools of work. So if this one was in your company and you get this kind of data, what we will focus on is the factors in terms of X1, X2, X3 that has got a bigger number. So you can see that we have got 0.6 here and 0.7. These factors here, they mean a lot to customer, to employee performance, which affect employee performance affect customer satisfaction. So training and experience affect our employee performance. You can also see attitude is at 0.4, which also affect our affect our employee performance. So you can see that training and experience are the key thing that we need to look into, because if we change training, we'll change employee performance by 0.6. So if employee was performing at 0.1 and we change at 0. Let's say in a range of 1 to 10, employee was performing at 7. So when you do a training, you'll get 0.6 change in the 7, which will bring us to 7.6. So you can see that we shall have raised employee performance by 0.6 because of just training, right? So now, after that, now, we already, so up to this point, whatever we are doing here, whatever we've done here is called predictive analytics. That's why I'm saying that if we change if we change training, if we just train an employee with 1 unit extra of training, then we will get 7.6 of employee performance. And you've already known that employee performance affects customer satisfaction. If employee performance was higher, there's a likelihood that also if employee experience was higher, let's say from 4 to 7, that is 2 years of experience, then it means that the employee performance will change by 0.7 here, 0.7 times 2. So, which now will give us an increase here. This one is equals to 1.4. So if an employee was performing at 7, and then you add 1.4, will be 8.4 in terms of performance. So we have seen that training and experience of our employees are key to our employee performance, because we've seen that employee performance is also part of customer satisfaction, plays a role. So what we do now, we come and prescribe. Prescriptive analytics. So we come and prescribe. We've seen that number one thing is training, which has got an impact on employee performance. Then number two is, the second thing that we're also having is employee experience. So an employee, if you see that training is needed, then we need to, depending on the customer feedback, the customer says that I wanted an A4 book and I was brought for an A3 book. I wanted a Kasuku brand, I was given a Tiger brand. So it means that we need to train on product knowledge. We train on product knowledge. So another thing that we can also train on communication, because maybe the employee bringing us a different brand because they didn't get the customer well. So communication can also be trained on. And also, I came to the facility, but I wasn't greeted. So nobody said hello to me. I've not been talked to since I came to this place. So we can also bring in the communication bit of it, and also people relations. People relations training, yeah, such that our employees can engage others. We build their confidence in terms of that. Presentation skills, how do you present yourself? Because maybe an employee doesn't want to go before a guest because the way they don't know how to present themselves. So after you've done this, now you can see that in your company, you've decided that you're going to train your employees, and the training you'll do product knowledge training, communication training, and people relations training, based on the feedback that you received from the customers. Then now another thing that also comes in question is the financial bit, or not even financial per se, but now the mode. Are we doing it online, or are we doing it face to face? If it's face to face, are we doing it in-house or external? And if you're doing it online, how much? If you're doing it in-house, how much? And this one, how much? So you can see that now we've come to a point that now we're asking ourselves, how much will it cost us for this training on customer service? So depending on which one you'll agree. So let's say that your company, now you say that, okay, we've seen that online again. Now you'll also go back to employees and also check, how do my employees learn best? Yeah, how do my employees learn best? Do they learn best through writing, listening, through diagrams? Yeah, do they work best when they see it practically? Then this one will answer your questions here, and then you now choose the best one that you work with. When it comes to employee experience, how do you increase employee experience? So one way is that you can introduce mentor-mentee program. Mentor-mentee program, because you've seen that we have someone who is skilled at 10 years, and then another customer service, this person A is at 10 years, and anytime that he serves a customer or she serves a customer, as customers give us 10 rating. Then you have got employee B who just joined the career and has got 3 years, and anytime she or he served a customer, we get a rating of 6. So if you have a mentor-mentee here, they'll be trying to encourage the other person to work out. So this one here, we'll be pairing employees. And this one we say that can work if you understand human interactions. Are you good so that you know so and so can work out well if I pair them? Yeah, the behavioral science skill that we're talking about. Are you able to see that? Right? So another way that you can also do is to empower employees. To empower employees. Because sometimes maybe a guest said that I raised an issue, but it wasn't solved by the first person who came. So maybe say the first person who came was person B. He came, got the guest complaint, but could not solve it. He had to wait for person A to come in and answer the question. Like we have some companies here are that only supervisor can answer guest question. So you empower your junior employees to be also able to answer guest questions. So that one will also increase the experience in that they'll be able to handle what supervisors are handling. That one will mean that there is already growth in them. If they can answer guests, they can sort guest issues, then that one means that they've reached another level that they understand. So empowering employees can also be one of the measures that you can take in place. Another one can just be coaching. Coach so that they can achieve their full potential. Just coach someone to achieve full potential. So if you look into whatever you're prescribing here, you'll find that coaching is coming in, which can also work as a motivating or as a reward under compensation. You're also coaching someone, you are empowering someone. So someone will feel valued in the company. So when we prescribe here the two, that this is what we're going to do. So in a company now, you'll come up with a list now as HR department, you have your key performance indicators, or you have got your targets to train on customer service skills. So you want to train within 2 weeks, right? And you want it will cost you 100,000 Kenya shillings. Number two, we want to increase our employee experience. And our employee experience here will do a mentor-mentee program. We'll introduce coaching. We'll also introduce, another that we talked about here was empowerment. We'll also empower our employees. So another thing can also be, okay, let's leave it up to this. So I mean that as a department, you have your achievement that you want to achieve. So how do you come into mentor, mentee, coaching, and empowerment? Now that now will depend now with you. Now you go deep down and check. So on the employee side, this is now for the HR department. On the employee side, let's say this one is, we have now customer service employees. So now you agree that once you've trained them, now every time a guest rated us, a guest will rate us. Now you now set for them a KPI that after this training that will last for 2 weeks and mentor-mentee relationship, which will go up to 3 months. Then after 3 months, we want to see a guest rating at 9, NPS of 9 or 90% NPS. So such that each and every employee will be taking care of their guests carefully, because they have been trained, they have been empowered, and now they have experience. Then now they are able to achieve this 9 as NPS or 90%. So after all those, now you can now see that now what happens now is that you need to implement and evaluate what is taking place. Is mentor-mentee program okay? Is there things I need to change, right? And now that one goes and you can see what to change or to add. So up to there, I think now we have done it, and now you have understood how we are coming from customer satisfaction to employee performance, to now individual HR department KPIs, just to achieve customer satisfaction. So Grace, I would stop there for our session. I think I've taken enough time for that.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Maybe you can repeat.
Grace, now I think we'll take questions that are there.
Yeah, when you started writing on customer service satisfaction, initially, I think people had lost you. Maybe you can start by explaining how you arrived at customer service satisfaction.
Hello? Okay, I'll go to the charts and start. Okay, now I will start the last question here about Rhoda. Rhoda is asking, how did you measure employee attitude? Employee attitude. Now, there are times that attitude depends on so many other things. And I said that if your company has got psychometric tests and aptitude tests, they can always measure the employee attitude. But on the other side, attitude can be measured in terms of, you are asking some questions like, if you have an customer survey question that was asking, did our employees explain to you this and that? So you want to see the employee attitude. If the employee really want to a business to succeed, did they explain to the guest that we have this kind of loyalty program, right? That one will tell you the attitude. How well is employee accepting rules or adherence to the rules from the management also measures attitude. So it's a qualitative that we can always ask questions, and depending on how it will be answered in terms of numbers, that you can quantify that. So are you able to explain, is the employee happy? Explain to a guest what is happening. Is the employee happy helping another employee? All those depends with the attitude. Yes. So that, if that one is clearer.
Nelson, there was someone who talked about.
I think employee attitude is a real threat. Okay, if we could have another time, we can now do this. We can see questions that when you ask an employee, the answers they give will tell you their attitude. Will tell you the attitude. How is 0.4 constant arrived at? I say that when you are doing regression analysis and you have data, you will always have a constant. Either constant can either be 0 or any figure that is there. So like if you can check on my screen now, we have this. If you have got, let's say now we are talking about Y axis and X axis. So for a line that will start from this, if you do a regression line and you find that a regression line starts here, then you have a 0 constant. So that one will give us that Y is equals to BX. So this B here is the change, the gradient here. So Y is equals to A plus BX. This A here comes when it is not 0. When this line cuts Y axis at where it's not 0, then it gives us a constant figure. So anytime you do your regression analysis, you'll always get it. You either get a 0 or sometimes it will come at a negative figure. So it depends with your regression line.
Nelson, I don't know if you can hear me.
Is there any question?
Can you hear me, Nelson? All right, Nelson, if you can hear me, yes. When you started writing on the customer satisfaction, most
yes.
of us were lost. I don't know if you can start by explaining that chart when you started writing on the customer satisfaction and how the HR KPI is related to that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, this one.
this one here. So we said that customer satisfaction, so we'll do it as CS. We can measure it using NPS. How we can say how happy are your customers to refer other customers. So this one is always measured in a scale of 1 to 10. So if a customer rates you between 9 to 10, these customers here are called promoters. They are promoting you. If a customer rates you between 1 to 6, these ones, they are spoilers or detractors. So the ones who are here are just passive. So how do we get NPS score? So NPS, Net Promoter Score, is equals to the number of customers who will rate you as promoters. So number of promoters minus number of detractors, right? Number of detractors. This was sending customers away over total number of customers. Number of customers who have given you their survey, who have given you their report, because there are some who will be featuring here. So this one here will give us Net Promoter Score. And then now we said this, that the company objective would be that we want to achieve 9, or you can say it at 90%, an NPS of 9 to 90%. So that is our objective as a company. But as at now, we are achieving NPS of 7. So how do we achieve 9 from 7? That's when we say that we'll collect data from our customers. So we'll collect data from our customers and analyze. And that's why we say that if you collect data from customers and see that we have customers saying that they are repeat customers, they either repeat or first timer customers. Number 2, we can talk about their Net Promoter Scores. Individual customer, how is the customer rating us? And then we also get their feeling on our product and or service. If you're offering services, then how do they rate our service? And then the customer also will also tell us something about employee. Here now will become on employee service now. That is a bit employee factor, individual factors of an employee, how they engage with an employee, how was the process. And now we've said that if we do this, and our data shows us that most of our clients are complaining about our employees in terms of taking wrong orders, in terms of bringing us delay or poor communication between us and our employees. Then we need to work on our employee performance in terms of customer service. So I think that's now clearer up there.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Since there was someone else asking about NPS, I don't know if he's fine with that.
That one has now been covered.
I think Esther Musheru, if you can be able to chat us. I don't know if the NPS score is now okay.
Okay. Any other question?
No.
Do you have, okay.
Do we have what?
Do you have any question from your end?
No, no.
Okay. So if
Yeah,
there are
I
no
think
questions,
that's okay. There's no question on my end, and I can't see any on the chat.
okay.
So
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Oguda. That was a very nice presentation, very educative and very helpful. So many of us have gained knowledge that we never knew about. And if anyone has any questions, you can email us to the email that sent you the invitation and we'll get back to you. I would like to appreciate every one of you for sparing time off your busy schedule to be part of this webinar. I know some of you are working, others are also studying, but you made time for this. And I hope you've gained a lot from it. So we'll be sending you the presentation, the recording, and also we didn't manage to do the poll that we had already started. So what we'll do is send you a survey on email so that you can be able to answer it from there. Remember that poll is to help us tailor the subsequent paid webinars to help us meet your needs according to the topics you want us to cover, the timelines, and also the payment that you're comfortable with. So once you send, kindly respond on it. We'll also send your feedback survey form for this presentation so that you can let us know what you think about it. And for those who haven't paid for their certificates, kindly remember to make your payments by end of today or tomorrow morning. Thank you so much once again and have a lovely evening. Also be sure to check social media pages. That is our Facebook, Visca Industrial Capacity Limited, Twitter at Visca KE, and LinkedIn Visca Industrial Capacity Limited. You'll also get other webinars that are general and that can also help you and your employees. Thank you.